All right, Terry Caliendo, Dedicated Managers, back here again to talk more about Oxygen, WordPress, and some custom programming. And this is where it gets fun for me because this is where it starts to get into some more technical stuff and starts to get a little bit more complicated. These first 6 videos have been overview, or the first couple were overview, and then these later videos were about using Oxygen and doing the front-end development visually. And now we're getting into some stuff. I want to talk about some stuff that's going to be more advanced. So that is the schedule page. So we're looking at the website here, and this tour schedule, each of these, well, let's go back to the main tour schedule. So here's the main tour schedule, and each of these dates, you know, the November 23rd, the December 8th, the January 11th, each of these dates is pulled from a custom post type, or let's just call it a place in the database that has information about each show. And so this page here is actually a pretty complicated loop over that information. And I'll talk about that loop, but the first thing to make it obvious first, the best place to start is with an actual show page. So I want to show how using Oxygen, I can easily pull in information about a particular show into a given template from a custom post type. So let's take a look at one of those custom post types, or the tour date custom post type. So I'm here in the back end, and this is a custom post type that I created. I'll show how I created that later. You can do it with code, or you can actually use a plugin to do that. It makes it easy for you. I'll show that later. But these are each of the shows right now. There's more shows here than are showed on the front end because there's actually something in the loop that says, hey, you know, filter out the ones that are old and only show the ones going forward. But anyway, we can take a look at an individual tour date. If we look at the Ridgefield Playhouse here, you can see we've got the date and time of the show, the button color of the text, whether we want it to be green or yellow, or what color we want it to be to show the urgency to get tickets, and what venue the show is tied to. So remember, this isn't an individual show, but it's tied to a venue so that we can pull the venue information from one place, and any custom notes. But really, the main thing is the date and time of the show and the ticket link color based on how sales are going for that show. And so we see that on the front end. That's this information right here is actually pulling from that custom post type. So if I was to look at, I'm here in the Oxygen editor. This is the Oxygen editor for a template to display the tour date custom post type. So I'll get into how to get here and build this. But for right now, I just want to show a quick overview that like the information for the show time. It is actually a text field that pulls in data, and you got to double click on this to get the data. So it's pulling in this data from Oxygen. So if I was to delete that and then go and add, you can't see it here on my screen. I guess if I scroll over, you'll see it there. We can insert custom data. And now I can go into my custom fields, and I'll show more about where I got the custom fields from. All of these, we're back here on the tour dates custom post type. And so normally you'd see the title and then that big field where you edit the post. I've hidden that because I don't need it. But I've created these extra information area. This is extra meta information for the tour dates. And I do that with a great custom plugin called Custom Fields that just makes it really easy to add this form with all this information. I don't have to write the back-end code to take in the information, put it in the database, and take it out. That the plugin does that for me. And I'll show that coming up. Also, this date picker, that's cool, and this ability to link a particular show to a particular venue. So I'm relating this post type to a venue post type. The venues have information about the venues, right? The address. If I have 2 different shows at the same venue, I only want to change the information on the venue in one place if I need to make a change. So that's why the venues are separated from the tour show dates. The dates are just the place and time, and the dates are really just the time, and the venue is the place and the information about where the people are going. So again, what's happening here is this meta information is allowing me to relate those two. I'm relating a particular tour date to a particular venue. So back here, remember, I am inserting that custom data, and so I can actually pull from a custom field. Oops, nope, I want to go back. I want to pull from the advanced custom field. And so you can see here I can pull the date and time of the show. So I'm actually pulling in this information right here from this custom post type. Oxygen is allowing me to dig in and grab that information. If I didn't have that information available that way, I could also call up a PH custom function, which I'm going to have to do for some other things that I'll show in the future. Certain relation things. It's not easy to pull the related information, so I can easily pull. I'm on the this interface is pulling information about a particular show. If I want to get the particular, I can get the venue information, the name of the venue, but I can't dig down and get the address and stuff. So I need to write special custom functions to do that. Anyway, I can just grab the date and time of the show, and so I forget what the format was. We can put year, month, date. We'll do that. Year dash month dash day, hours. We don't want the hours. Yeah, we do. We want the hour colon minutes, but we don't want the seconds. So now once I insert that and click off of it, Oxygen will go and get the data and format it the way that I asked it to format it. So you can see that that's not pretty. That's not the way I had it before. If I reload the page, let me reload it and get rid of what I changed, and I'll come back when Oxygen has reloaded. So here it is loading. And so you can see when it originally loads, it goes and gets all that data. And here's how I have it formatted nicely. 8 p.m. and then I have the date formatted as another custom data field that I'm pulling in here. So there's no data for this field, but it doesn't render on the front end. And so you can see that this is a template, and it's pulling from my different shows, and I can just go ahead and change the show, and it's going to pull and show the different data for each show as I change it. So that's what's happening on the front end. If we go to the front end, and that's not going to load. Yeah, it is going to load, right? So you can see that this is the Airway Heights show. Or if I go back and I want to get Lake Charles, the format is the same, but the information is being pulled from the particular custom post type information for that particular show. Now remember this is venue information, so that's being pulled from a venue. And I think if we dig in closer, we'll see that I'm calling a function. You can see the function here. I'm calling a custom function that I created to go and get that information, because that's a second level down. That's this address information here is it's part of the ridge field, and Oxygen isn't smart enough to dig down in, so you have to write to go from this post type to the other one. You have to write a little custom function to do that, and I'll show more about that. But this was just to try and show an overview that the website is very dynamic in that it's pulling the information from the shows from a database basically, and that allows me to easily go and change the format for all the shows with one stroke by just changing the template here. So if I wanted to get rid of this word live on every single tour date, I could do that just by simply just deleting it here in the template. I guess that didn't delete it. I don't know why that's not deleting it, but I guess I got to go like this and delete it that way. So now that live wouldn't show up everywhere. Of course, I don't want to do this to the production site, so I'm not going to save those changes. So that's a quick overview. Hopefully you can see what's to come. I'll show the programming that's happening behind the custom fields. I'll show the plugins that I'm using and how I'm setting all this up, and I'll kind of build it out real quickly in from scratch in the development site. So stay tuned. I'll move forward on that. I'm going to get into some cool stuff, some interesting code, and some ways to really interact, and get custom functionality to show up the way you want it to show, and where you want it to show, and how you want it to show in Oxygen. And again, with that data that I'm pulling in, the great thing is I've got Oxygen's front end now that I can easily, change the look to do whatever I want to do. If I want to, change the sizes and the colors, it's all really easy to do, and it makes my life so much easier as far as designing the front end. So anyway, Terry Caliendo, again, Dedicated Managers. If you need any help with any projects, feel free to give us a call, shoot us some information on the contact page. Would love to help anybody with a project that you need help with. If you need to outsource, if you need help with a project, just a small piece, or even us to take over an entire project, we're happy to do so. So feel free to give us a call. So Terry Caliendo, Dedicated Managers, take care, have a great day, and happy coding.